Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Didn't they ban the shit out of 8-axis? And yes, it is true, they banned all the important, I would say the most important cards. They banned the kaijus, so no kaijus and no slumber. They banned, because I'm running Diva, you know, this was a direct hit to me personally. They banned my four level 10 singles that I used. Baron, Changing, Ice Age, Gamer, Aegirine, because Diva is a water tuner, and Chaos Angel, because all the dangers in Gizmek are dark, so you can still make this with Diva. And then they hit Numeron Dragon. Not only did they hit Numeron Dragon, they hit Hope Harbinger, so I can't even really have a good Dragulion target, so there's really no point running Dragulion either. They hit Zeus, and they hit Galaxy Eyes. This hurts, because this was my only installation against hand traps. You can use this, you can negate stuff like you play into a Maxi a lot, and this insulates you from the Biru and stuff like that, which now we have no protection, so you just gotta go in raw and just hope you come out okay and hope you don't die. So yeah, in order to replace the stuff, mainly in the main deck, right? My 9-card Kaiju engine, which was 3 Slumber and 9 Kaijus, I just placed those with Joseph Rothschild, 3 of these. It's just a free special summon if your opponent controls 2k or more, a monster 2k more attack. By the way, if you didn't somehow already gather from this is a blind second deck. I'm sure you might have caught on to that by now. And I put in Ogopoggers and Saj the Fleur as random level 8 extenders. You know, you gotta play a 40-card deck, you know, just to keep it legal. And then I threw in all the ceiling cards. 3 Mind Control, 2 Change of Heart, 3 Tactics, 3 Thrust, double Regeki. You might be wondering, why do you own 3 Mind Control and 2 Change of Heart? And I will say, I played this deck well over a year ago, like maybe like in 2022, and back then Change of Heart was still banned, and we didn't have Thrust obviously, and you know, I didn't like Talons at the time because I ran a lot of Kaijus and Talons didn't really trigger when you Kaiju your opponent. So yeah, the 3 Mind Control was the goo back then. Obviously, it's not as necessary now because you have much more access to stealing cards, as you can see right here. So, but you know what? I'm not dismantling these. F that. I spent too many URs for this. I'm keeping these, and I'm using this in whatever fucking event keeps this legal. And this just happens to be one of them. So yeah, it's this is still an OTK deck. Surprisingly, well, I mean, as soon as I saw that they kept Gizmek Origin legal, I knew that this deck was still playable. And then the fact that they didn't hit Alpha and they also didn't hit the Dangers. In fact, all the level 8 monsters, all the extenders, are actually legal. It's just that you don't have the Kaijus, but those are more board breakers than anything. So you can still OTK your opponent. You just basically need any 3 monsters onto a clear board, and you know that includes your opponent's monsters. You take your opponent's monsters, and that clears the board, and it gives you something to attack with, unless you mind control them. If you mind control them, then you overlay with the mind controlled monster into zombie vampire, and zombie vampire you can use whatever level your opponent's monster is. You can just treat it as level 8. So then you can use this to get your other extender that way, and then you can kill them. Or if you mind control a link monster, usually it's going to be a dark this format, or usually you're going to have these are all dark monsters, so you're gonna have a dark monster on the field, and you could link it off into dark, and then dark take the monster that you just mind controlled, and you linked it off with, and now because it's no longer mind control, you just ride with dark. Now it can attack, and now that's also a way to go for game. So it surprisingly still has very good OTK potential despite not having Numeron Dragon. Now, the OTKs are way less safe, as I mentioned, because what Numeron Dragon does is it lets you attack over any monster, basically, per game. Like, literally, you give your opponent a Kaiju, and how you did this board was you abused Mannequin Cat with Deep Sea Diva. It gave your Numeron Dragon 11k attack, because Mannequin Cat is level 2 and it gives you 2k more attack on your Doomar Dragon, so it was safe into everything, and you can do it. It only takes 2 monsters, so you can put resources into Photon Dragon to negate hand traps, stuff like that. Yeah, you can't do any of that right now. It's all or nothing. You just have to like ball. It's like fuck it, we ball. And if your opponent has the nib, they have the nib, but if they don't, they're gonna die. The ultimate maxi challenge. Yeah, we're not running out some maxi. None of that pussy shit, bro. We take the challenge 100% of the time, and we win it 80% of the time. 20% of the time we're quite sad, but most of the time, it's like not the maxi that's the problem. It's if they draw into other stuff on top of the maxi, which this deck has extenders. Any single like non high impact hand trap, it's usually fine. It's just the Nibiru, man. That's just hope they don't draw into the Nibiru. And yeah, also Pile of Desires is limited, so that makes me sad playing this deck. And honestly, this is my most common thrust target. With Tactus too, Tactus is more often not a draw card, because this deck is all gas. So even though it can non-targeting take your opponent's card, which it's a better change of heart because it doesn't target. So you can take Avermax, which is relevant in this format. But if you're not taking something like an Avermax, I would often just draw this card, because drawing 2 live extenders, such as drawing like a Danger or like a Diva or 2 or like a Gizmek and a Alpha, or drawing into, instead of using your triple tactics to take your opponent's monster, you use tactics to draw 2, and then you can draw into your actual stealing cards, and then draw another card on top of that instead of just using the 1 card. Your draws are extremely high value in this deck. That's also why we're not running hand traps, because if you run hand traps and you draw in the hand traps off of your draw cards, that sucks, because your opponent already has a board and those hand traps are dead cards. So you just have to run like all gas in a build like this, and it usually works out. Now the extra deck is this is just so janky. I lost over half my extra deck. So the only things that are left that I'm still using from my old extra deck are Thingirsu, Zombie Vampire, the Dark, and Mannequin Cat for the Diva. And I'm still running Diva because I think Mannequin Cat is still insane. But usually Mannequin Cat is a way to enable Newborn Dragon LTK, but instead what Mannequin Cat does is usually gets me any extender from the deck. Most decks are dark, and even if they're not, if they have a Dragon, Machine, or Winged Beast monster, or a Spellcaster, you can still summon a monster from your deck. So it's like a level 8 body there. It's 2k attack by itself, and also it gives you something to steal. Sometimes the best target to mind control is in your opponent's graveyard, so you just give it back to them and then you take it for yourself. Yeah, also if they don't control a monster and you need to make your thrust live, you can forcefully after you Regeki them, you can Mannequin Cat forcefully give them back their monster to make your thrust live, and then thrust for change of heart, and change of heart take the monster you just gave them and smack them in the face with it. It's very funny. Nibimaru, this is filler. You never go into this because your Diva you probably don't have to worry about monsters sticking on your opponent's side of the field given the nature of this deck. Because I guess the Phoenix, it's just target to sell, so it makes Diva a 3k beater by itself, at worst case scenario. And this is the only good level 10 synchro legal, and you do this when you realize you can't OTK your opponent, like you're playing against Orcust. You're like, damn, I broke their board, but I don't have the gas to kill them. Well, I'm actually just gonna Ruddy Roast Dragon, and I'm gonna banish your entire graveyard and all the Orcust in there so that you don't have follow-up on the next turn. So, very fun. Very funny. I don't think this ever really happens. That's why I cut it from my actual build. But maybe when I don't have the capabilities of OTKing in this event, this will come up more often. Although in testing hasn't. Explorer and Sanaphon, new ships. I guess don't really ever go into these. Ashtartu. So this does overflow damage or trample damage. No, trample is not the right word. Okay, so you attack and your opponent takes if you kill their monster and they take attack equal to the monster that destroyed that was destroyed by this attack. So this basically just does 3k over any monster. So that is also, you know, more damage. And probably the most important, the actual next most important cards in the extra deck besides the Gearsuit and Zombie Vampire are Pain Gainer and Seven Sins. You run 2 of these because as far as I'm concerned, the summon of these are not once per turn. You can summon these over your rank 8 exceeds as much as you want. So you can make something like a Lancelot and a Ding. You can overlay a Pain Gainer over each of them, then overlay into 7 Sins. So you can that's 2 7 Sins is still 8k damage, but also keep in mind this never happens when you're playing a real 8-axis deck. But here, since sometimes you don't kill your opponent, this has another effect where you can't use this in turns activated, so it's not really relevant for most duels outside of this event. But you know, if this does survive, which does happen because this has destruction reduction and it's 4k, and you broke your opponent's board already, so it's actually kind of difficult for them to out this. You can detach 2 materials from this card and banish as many special summon monsters your opponent controls as possible, and you can attach it to this one as material. So just a full board wipe if it lives to your next turn. So even if you don't kill them, but you put one of these or 2 of these up, it's really, you're still probably going to win the game, because they can't put up any, if they can't really get rid of this, then you just wipe the entire field, and then you can attack them for game, because they're not surviving 2 separate attacks from the 7 Sins. Well, I mean, yeah, let's see how this deck actually performs this event. So, my very first duel of the event, my opponent normal summons Tour Guide. It's been 9 years. TrollDespair. Yeah, so unfortunately for them, I have every single card in my hand was either banned at the time that BA was released or was not printed yet, and obviously I'm not sure. You see, the board that they make is Beatrice plus IP. So this is, unfortunately, when you're playing a deck that has 20 board breakers and draw cards in your deck, this is not really sufficient. So I'm gonna Desires first, check if they have Ash, and they do not even have Ash or Maxi. So that's easy. We're gonna write Geki, and they're gonna chain Beatrice and chain IP Masquerena. Now, frankly, if they ran Purple Dante, I think it was better to just have the Beatrice float into Purple Dante. I'm gonna be honest, because they IP for a Dark Charmer that does nothing. Like what? Like how is this better than Gay Dante? Like come on. So yeah, they're gonna add Graph, which I don't care. They're not gonna live this turn. So we're gonna trade in Gizmek, the combo, draw 2, draw another Gizmek. That's not what we want, but it's okay because I'm gonna triple stress, Chadwick Stress into a second trade in just to, you know, we're just pot of greeting here, draw into a Deep Sea Diva, and I'm gonna Tactics, draw 2 more cards because they don't have any really hand trap. You could have argued I should look at their hand to see if they have a nib, but you know, fuck it, we ball. They don't have a nib. They're not too skilled enough. Speaking of skill, we don't miss our dangers here. So we're gonna summon Thunderbird and Gizmek, and then I'm gonna make like Gusto Phoenix. That's the 5th summon. They don't have nib, so this is 3k damage plus 28 plus 24 plus a change of heart. Frankly, I shouldn't have summoned that Gizmek, because that Gizmek was pointless. I could have literally just waited for the battle phase, but you know, maybe that played into a Crow. I don't know, but yeah, apparently when you're a BA and you open no hand traps and no back row, you're not. It's not looking so hot for you. Next, we're playing against BFD. That's a Monka W right there, and they're playing Vernusylph. Wait for it. Vernusylph, Earth Machine. So I've been looking into Earth Machine recently, and well, I'm not the most experienced player, but correct me if I'm wrong, but this does not seem to be the combo. You add Ancient Gearbox, okay, for Tunneler, and then send 2 for Tunneler, and then link off into Anger Knuckle, and that's it. There's no Angle Knuckle target. You see, I didn't know that. I assumed they played this properly, because not gonna lie, when Earth Machine combos, and I just kind of look away for a second since I don't really run hand traps in my build, but that fucked me up, because I mind control taking an Anchor Knuckle trying to bait it out, and then I realized, wait, they don't even have a target for Anchor Knuckle. Like, what the So, yeah, that kind of screwed me up, so now I'm summoning my own Bigfoot and dumping Gizmek to draw a card, and I draw into another Bigfoot. Again, we never miss dangers around here, okay? We never miss dangers. That's what separates the good 8-axis players from the bad 8-axis players, the ability to win on your Gambas. So anyway, this was a mistake. I Gizmek and it gets Called By. So what I should have done is, you should always play around Call by the Grave, because, you know, you don't run hand traps, so they obviously could have a possibility of having it. You could go into Dingirsu, and then go into Dingirsu, it doesn't target, so that threatens to Call by the Grave, which prompts them to maybe chain it. And if they chain it, then you can chain your Gizmek to Call by the Grave. You can always force their back row first before using your Gizmek. That way you can dodge stuff like Call by the Grave on your Gizmek. So yeah, that was my bad. Also, as you can see, because I failed to bait out the Anger Knuckle, these cards, these fucking cards, I have 3 dead cards in my hand. So that's very nice. I'm gonna Dingirsu send. They're gonna chain Urgent Schedule. So something out 2 Earth Machines, Harvester and Citadel, and I'm just sending the Harvester, I guess. And we're gonna overlay into Pain Gainer, use its effect for comedy, even though it doesn't really affect anything, and then go into 7 Sins and attack for 38 over the Vernusylph. And their Citadel is still negated on field, so as long as this is on field, you know, it's we don't gotta worry. They get the Anger Knuckle back, and they have 3 cards. Check that, they have 5 cards, because they for some reason didn't use the Tunler on their turn to draw 5, so now they're gonna draw 2 on their follow-up, and go for redeployment, dumping a Rune Force to add a Rune Force, okay. And add Overdrive. And they're gonna set Overdrive. Like, come on, the Earth Machine players, peeps, if you're somehow watching this, they could have done something more than just hitch Rune Force, add Rune Force, set a fucking Overdrive, right? Like come on, man. By the way, I know this doesn't come up, but as we mentioned before, you know 7 Sins has an effect. You can't use it to turn summon if you overlay it on top of Spider, but it's been a turn. That means this effect is live. You can detach 2 materials, banish as many special summon monsters your opponent controls as possible. I don't think they realize that, so I'm gonna 7 Sins, and they're gonna chain Overdrive to destroy their Citadel, which is far too late because all their stuff is getting banished now, and now their Citadel can't trigger because they don't have nothing on the field to pop with it, and this is see, you can win with just half a hand. You got your triple tactics trio just chilling there. So next up, we're playing against, like, could you believe it? It's the mirror match. I lost the coin flip, and my opponent made me go first. Okay, so these first few turns are riveting. Okay, pass, pass, pass. Now my opponent has 7 cards, so they're gonna have to play a card or they're gonna have to discard. And they play Luna. And here, I know that this is actually hard to kill me if you begin with Luna, because you need to summon 3 extra monsters. You need to summon Danger, like a Gizmek or something to actually OTK. And they're not skilled enough to draw more level 8 extenders, because I don't control a monster, so that means there's stuff like alphas and shit. Those are dead, so they really don't have many extenders to kill me if I don't control a monster. And yeah, as you can see, they dumped the Kurikara thing. That's doing a lot for you. And now I'm going to summon my Danger to Bigfoot. They're not even gonna change. See, they're smart. They don't bother chaining Fairy Tail and Luna because they know I can just negate it anyway, so that's gonna trigger stuff like tactics. So that's smart on them. Although that basically means it's a vanilla, so that's also not doing that much for them. And I hit the Bigfoot. Whoopsie. So I'm gonna special 2, go into Zombie Vampire, and this is awkward because I didn't actually have a way to kill them, necessarily guaranteed way to kill them, until they mortared my Zombie Vampire. So I was gonna try to get an extender to kill them that way, but since they negated it, that turned on my tactics anyways. So now I get to draw 2 cards. hopefully draw into an extender. You know, that kind of works. Okay, about me being a skilled danger player, skilled 8-axis player, I lied. I'm a fraud. I'm actually just a noob 8-axis player. I missed 2 dangers in a row. That's quite awful. But even missing 2 dangers in a row, we still have a 3rd draw card to draw into Thrust, but let's just add Change of Heart. And then we drew into the Gizmek finally, so now you can Gizmek during the battle phase for the game. And this, I don't think this played around the Biru because there was already too many summons, but you know, and they didn't have a Gizmek of their own, they would have summoned it last turn, so yeah, this is basically in this mirror match, especially in this event, because there's no Nimron Dragon, whoever commits to the board first loses. It's a very what's it called, Teledad or Dragon Ruler-esque. And yes, I totally just compared the 8-axis mirror match to the Teledad or Dragon Ruler mirror match. Well, next up, we're facing someone who just lost their girl because they decided to save Moye from drowning instead. And they're gonna reveal a second Moye. Damn, should save some for the rest of us. And they're gonna go into Dragite. Yes, what a wonderful play. What a great deck for this event. Wow, just insane. So anyways, mind control, bait out the Adamancipator, bait out the Dragite. Now my Triple Tactics Thrust is live, and this game is essentially over because I have 5 live cards in hand. And I'm going to trade in, pitch the Thunderbird. I was going to bait it out anyways, but they saw him Judgment because they have to, otherwise they were going to lose it anyways. And unfortunately for them, we already have game on board because they cut their life points in half for us. Thank you very much. And we're going to add Thrust, or you can add Change of Heart, doesn't really matter, special, and then take the Dragite for us, yoink. And boom. Man, y'all really playing Swordsoul this event with no Swordsoul synchros. Alright, so now we're finally playing a game against the best deck of this format. Orcust. They're gonna begin with Girsu to send Harp Order, and they're gonna make a token. Give us a token. I don't know, but like for some reason, all my Orcust opponents somehow let me keep my token, which in this matchup is surprisingly kind of annoying because I run Lightning Storms. But really, you should not be giving me a token. Like, you should not be letting me keep a token on my field like that for free material. Like, don't do this, man. Like, play a Lion to Live or something to get rid of this token, man. And they're gonna set Crescendo. Also, don't go for Crescendo, bro. Babel is so much better. Look how easy it is to bait this Crescendo. Okay, my turn. Activate one of my 2 mind controls. There's the Crescendo baited right there. Thank you very much. And now I'm gonna mind control their IP to bait out the IP. And that they're gonna reveal that they don't play Avermax, they're gonna play Bomber Dragon. So probably trying to draw into Gizmek, I guess. And here I'm gonna trade in Dump Saj, and you're gonna hit by a Maxi. This is the strongest Orcust card, by the way. This is the best Orcust card. The only reason that I ever lose any games in Orcust is because of Maxi. Their board is ridiculously easy to break, but it's not. It's a lot harder to win the game when your opponent draws 7 cards while you're breaking their board. So I don't really have anti-hand trap measures in this deck because they banned all the good ones. They banned all of the good extenders in my deck and all the good rank 8 Xyz. So yeah, what a hand, by the way. Just have Diva and Thunderbird in hand, traded it in for another second Diva and a Thunderbird. Thank you. Dump the 3rd Thunderbird. I don't get that out of my face. So I'm gonna Danger Bigfoot, dump the Thunderbird, draw a card, draw into the Joseph Rothschild Dragon, dump Joseph. Sorry dude. Draw into another Bigfoot. We're hitting our dangers this game. And meanwhile, I'm just praying my opponent doesn't have Nibiru. And this is kind of awkward because my zones were kind of locked by the token, so I couldn't summon the hero as my entire board would go boom, so I had to link off in Dark first. And now I'm gonna special Swordsoul Limit Dragon and go into Dingirsu. And this is a lot of special summons. There was probably a way to do this in less special summons, but at this point I already committed, and if they drew into Nip, they drew into Nip, bro. draw into your 1-up, because all these people only run 1 nib, and they did not. They drew into an Inperm instead. I felt that response. I felt you had a card you can activate. Unfortunately, that card is not keeping you alive. So yeah, that's right. I spent 20k gems on this deck, and I crafted about 33 URs in this deck. Yes, I counted, and what that got me, that got me 3k gems from this event. So hashtag worth it.